Greetings, fellow dwarves, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of a new series playing Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. If you would like to skip the game's overview, please use YouTube chapters. Rockin' Stone. Welcome everybody to a brand new stream of a new game, Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. Deep Rock Galactic Survivor is a single-player, survival-like auto-shooter where you wield a full arsenal of guns, turrets, bombs, and devices to take out hordes of lethal aliens, mine riches, and unlock powerful upgrades. It's one dwarf against all of the Planet of Hoxxes. I'm showcasing the game in a Let's Play tutorial hybrid where you, the viewers, will be able to vote on priorities and influence the direction of the series, and as per usual, it will indeed air on YouTube. So what I'm going to do is just do one deep dive right at the start, and then I'll start to allow you some influence about what to pursue. But for you to understand and have a basis of, so that you know what you're voting on, it helps to showcase a little bit of the game. And the game gets right into it. There's not really much of a tutorial, not that you really even need one. And for this stream, I have cleared my save data, or I backed it up and then cleared it. So we're starting from the very start of the game. So when you start, the only thing that you can go is Crystalline Caverns, the first biome. And each biome has a certain set of different hazard challenge levels, 1 through 5, and then the others don't have as many maps as Crystalline Caverns, but in order to unlock new maps, you have to complete biome goals. In this case, it is complete the dive, upgrade the starting gun to at least level 12, and collect 200 gold. So we are going to be attempting to do that now.
I'll do a hazard 1.
There are 4 classes, so if you're familiar with Deep Rock Galactic, these are very similar, they're identical to the original 4 classes, and they feel pretty similar as well. The scout, the gunner, the driller, and the engineer, and they will be unlocked as we progress in the game as well. But we start off as the scout. Each class has 3 different types to it. So the scout starts off with move speed and extra HP with a starting gun of the Deep Core GK2. But you can unlock additional starting setups. Like the next one is a dodge setup where it lets you dodge attacks.
Scout Classic,
and let's just jump into it.
Find and eliminate the dreadnoughts. Remember, you're on
So,
your own this time.
to talk a little bit about the gameplay loop,
If you fail.
you are deployed in the drop pod, and you have to fight through waves and get resupplies and mine and eventually kill a boss at the end of a 5-round map. And in it, you will be upgrading your weapons and gear and collecting resources for improvements. Most of the resources, or rather, gold and nitra, which is the 2 primary resources that you will get the most out of. Nitra is only usable within 1 deep dive. At the end of the deep dive, it's gone. Gold can be saved. So at the end of your dive, there's ways to spend gold after the match to improve you passively. And then there are also rarer resources which are used to upgrade stats as well. So here we go. So these little blue things are experience. At the bottom here, you have the, it pauses when I tab out. So at the bottom, we have different weapons. They're unlocked at level 5, level 15, and level 25. And then you have the experience bar here. So I'm level 1. On the far left of the screen, you've got the 5 little dots in a vertical row. So that indicates that I'm on deep dive or on stage 1 of 5. Top left is the minimap. The minimap will have different icons. So the dark green is like, traversable terrain. The lighter green is the mountains. And then the really light green is resources like nitra and gold. And also those other resources I was talking about, like crappa. And then if it's white, it means it is the resource that you need for the side mission of the map. And getting those side mission resources will award you 30 gold. So it's a nice little boon of gold. And then collecting them will also give you a little bit of experience. At the top is sort of your timer. So each round is a timed wave clear. and that orange bar is the progress. So in each map, you'll have a resupply beacon, which you can clear and call down for an artifact, which will power you up. And then the skulls are hordes that are coming, waves of enemies that you'll have to defeat or run away from. And then the very end is the boss. And the boss, you can take as much time as you want to kill the boss, but it gets harder for every minute or so that you don't kill it. So although the map isn't technically timed, it gets to the point where you're just overwhelmed and die if you take too long to kill the boss. So let's get to it. One of my goals here to unlock new biomes is to collect 200 gold. So I'm going to be trying to do that. Now, every time you level, you'll be offered 3 different choices for how you want to level up your weapons. So I only have one. I only have the GK2 weapon, the starter weapon. And there are different levels of it. There's white to green to blue to purple and then red. Red being legendary and white being the lowest level. Over here, you can also see that you can re-roll your choices. So if you don't like them, you can spend gold. It does make it pretty costly, but every now and then you'll re-roll and then you'll be offered like a legendary one, which is kind of nice. So I can increase my damage, increase my fire rate, or this actually levels up the weapon by 3 levels. And if you're wondering why you would do that, once you have mods unlocked for your weapons, which for any new weapon that you've never encountered, it means you have to get it to level 12 first and then use it again in a subsequent match. Every time you hit levels 6, 12, 18, you get a very special modifier for the weapon. For some weapons, those modifiers don't mean very much. It will just be like a little extra damage and refire rate or reload or whatever. Some weapons, it will change it completely. It will allow the weapon to do a different element type, or allow the weapon to shoot in multiple directions, or allow the weapon to do other very special things like slowing down enemies, etc. So for weapons that I typically will pick the highest level or the best level up reward, but not always. Sometimes I want to focus on one specific weapon. I will get in a little bit of game theory after we get through a mission or two, talking about the best way to approach winning, per se. But in this case, I'm just going to go with the paint job because I think it will be in my best benefit to try to get my rifle up to level 6 so I can modify it.
Points for style.
And I am getting experience from mining and killing. All right, so here's another one. Fire rate, crit chance, or reload speed. I am going to go with fire rate. So the reason I went with fire rate, which was the normal quality, over the crit chance, which was uncommon, is I think that there's going to be more of a benefit for me getting this weapon up to level 6 than to get a little bit of a crit chance. So if you hit escape, you can also see the basic stats. So you can see the map that you're on and the goals that you have, the hazard, the class's bonus, the weapon, and what kind of damage and upgrades that it does. So it's a medium weapon that is precise, projectile, and kinetic, and these will become more relevant later on. And then also crit chance, crit damage, move speed, etc. So now I'm just running around trying to collect as much gold and nitra as I can. The reason why I'm not spending a lot of time killing the bugs is the bugs will eventually path to me. So I could stand here and just shoot a bunch of bugs. The thing is, if they're going to be following me, it's really easy for me to then at some point kill them. So I don't really need to be standing around shooting them. I would rather spend my time collecting resources because it's going to benefit me more in the long run. So here's some more gold and nitra up to the north. So in this case, I'd be tempted to unlock a new weapon mod for bigger cogs, but I think I'm going to go with Dwarven Heritage so that it can mine a little bit faster because I'm spending a lot of the first round mining. Now what I will say is, what I find most useful for at the start of new matches is to get things like mining speed and get things like extra experience gain, because investing in mining speed and experience gain will pay off immensely later on, where you will be able to acquire more things. So here is a case where we have leveled up to level 5, giving us a new type of weapon. There's multiple types of weapons for each class. Some of them are specific to the class. So like the Zukov, for instance, is specific to the Scout. Well, actually, I don't even think that's true. The Cryo Grenade, I believe, is specific to the Scout. Whereas like other classes can get the jury-rigged boomstick. Now, the other thing to note is that I don't have weapon mods for these weapons, which means that they are not going to benefit hitting level 6, 12, or 18, not until I get them up to level 12. And then once I get them up to level 12, I have to use them again. So in this case, I'm going to go with the Cryo Grenade, which is a fun, throwable, explosive, area of effect grenade. And here's a good... Here's a good example of them, like, kind of catching up and swarming me. So this is our first swarm. As you can see at the top of the map, this is what the swarms look like. And there's different types of enemies here. So let me pause it for a second. Well, maybe not when they're frozen. So there's also something really important over here, right there, which is a magnet. What that magnet will do, and you don't always get access to the magnet, but what the magnet will do is it will allow you to collect all of the experience that is on the map tile. Because a lot of the time what you're doing is you're kiting, you're running around and killing things as you flee, meaning that it's really tricky sometimes to double back on what you've killed to actually collect the experience, because it will be like covered in swarms. So the magnet allows you to collect everything all at once. Often I would say it's, unless you have a ton of experience on the map already, it's probably best to leave that not right at the end of the match, but like towards the end of the match, so that you can just sort of gather everything all at once, unless you need the experience now to survive. In terms of the enemies, the orange ones that you see over there are explosive, and when you shoot them, they'll explode, and they'll do damage to the things around them, and they can also chain explode. They will also explode if you get too close, but you can get close and then back up real quick, setting them off like a bomb. And then the ones with the health bars, that red health bar, are like mini bosses. And the mini bosses, there's a bunch of different types of mini bosses. Some are flying, some spit, some just try to run you down. But let's get this horde cleared a little bit. So you can see the cryo grenade going in full work. And you can also see that the Praetorians, the big green ones, are just like trucking through the terrain here. They don't really care that there's terrain. And a huge part of the game is to always have an out, always have a way to flee. So in this case, what I can do is I'm going to start trying to level up the throwable grenades so that I get them to level 12 so that they can be modded. And because 3% crit chance and like status effect damage, which I don't have any weapons to do status effect damage, this is obviously the best bet here. Sometimes when you mouse over things, like crit chance is just a general thing that benefits all weapons. But if it would say something like projectiles would only be for my gun, or throwables, it would be only for the grenades. So there are specific upgrades like that too. So here's a case where I'm going to go with the reload speed so I can modify the gun. So here is the options that you get once you have weapon mods unlocked at 6, 12, and 18. So I can do damage and reload speed, or extra damage, lower fire rate, but these shots pierce. Definitely gonna go with high caliber rounds. Piercing shots are really good for horde clearing.
Overclock, rock, and stone.
Look at all these enemies that are stuck. So now you can really see the benefit of the piercing shots, as I am just slaying. So now the boss is coming. The Elite Mactera, and it has the little skull indicating that it is a boss. So the best thing I could do right now is to get this supply drop that I have neglected so that I can resupply. So that's where I'm headed to now. And I'll pick up the experience, might as well. So I will do stronger grenades and fire rate for the gun. And stronger grenades again. So up to my north is a resupply, and the resupply is going to allow me to get some sort of artifact, which will boost me. But in order to do that, I have to make sure that the terrain around it is cleared out, which is a little tricky to do when you're being chased by a boss. So sometimes you just have to clear some of it out, run away, and then double back. luring them away. And in this case, I am just going to eat some damage so that I can get the artifacts. The artifacts are often very, very strong, so you don't want to miss them. And once I kill the boss, I have 30 seconds to extract. So it's a situation where, like, either you get it or you lose it. So I'm just going to tank here so that I don't lose access to it. Another thing to note is the supply pod there dropped and landed on the mini-boss, meaning that it killed it in the process. So that's something you can do if you don't think you have the damage to kill the bosses, is to intentionally drop the pod on the boss, killing it, allowing you to clear the wave quickly. The pod won't ever hurt you, though, so you don't have to worry about dropping it on your own head. So then once we're up to this, we get an artifact. So I can get a small chance to find XP when we mine any kind of rock, gain experience when I take damage, or collecting red sugar increases my max HP. Let's do the red sugar.
Cowabunga!
I also got some extra experience, so I'm going to get move speed.
I'll take this one.
And I'm going to try to collect as much of the experience here as I can. I'm going to get XP gain.
Perfect for the build.
And now let's get out. If you don't make it to the drop pod in time, you lose. The drop pod takes off without you, and you do get to keep whatever gold and other resources that you have mined, but not all that advisable to end a run that way unless you intend to.
Stage 1 completed. Well done. Taking you to stage 2.
And that is what a stage looks like. Now, at the end of the stage, you have the option to buy upgrades with the nitrate gold that you mined. Gold will give you sort of passive upgrades, and nitro and none of these are actually nitro upgrades, as you can tell. Nitro will upgrade specific weapons. So a nitro upgrade would be leveling up the grenade or the GK2 SMG. But here, let's go with XP gain,
I rarely go for this one.
mind speed, and you can also re-roll all of them. Although, of course, if you don't like the options, it can get a little tricky, and the gold goes up every time you re-roll, or you can just heal. But I'm not too worried about healing. Ooh, I love when the drop pod lands on resources, because it gives you all those resources instantly for free.
I think we're actually doing all right so far.
I have collected 100 gold, and as you can remember, one of the goals of this map is to collect 200. So that's one of the reasons why I'm focusing really heavily on gold. Now, other things to note is that killing the boss, I would highly advise you'd have some movement speed and mind speed. If you don't move fast, it's going to be really hard to evade the boss. And if you don't mine, sometimes you can get stuck. So those two things are probably, I would say, pretty important. All right, I'm going to go with fire rate here. And it'll also be good for me to start healing. Because I did take damage. I intentionally sort of tanked a whole bunch of things so that I could collect more resources and more experience. So this is the red sugar, which will heal me. And because my weapons pierce, it's actually really nice for me to do like a long tunnel like this, because then all the enemies will line up and it'll let me shoot multiple all in a row. Let's get some of these mini bosses down. Oops. That was unfortunate. I killed it right as I was trying to trigger it with proximity. And unlike last time, I'm not going to drop the pod on the boss. I'm just going to trigger it now for the upgrade.
There you go. Delivery of 1 resupply for you, miner.
Let's go with the Vitaminer pills. Every time I level up, I gain a little bit of healing. Because I'm apparently really bad at not getting hit. And then once I kill a little bit more of this horde, we have another swarm coming. So here's another weapon. I'm going to go with the jury rig boomstick. So it targets the closest enemy. It's a double barrel, and it does massive damage and knockback, which is good for keeping them off of me. Oh, and we also have a magnet here. So I'm going to leave the magnet till later. Let's go with pocket magnets. I'm getting really lucky on those XP collection magnets. Alright, the elite mech terror is coming. I'm gonna grab the experience that I have, so I'm a little bit stronger. I'm gonna focus on my rifle. Even though this is a bigger bonus, I don't think it's reasonable for me to try to get the shotgun up to level 12, unlocking its mods. So I'd rather just have my primary weapon stronger.
I'm raring to try this out. Need it.
Often, a general strategy is that, or at least in my experience, I tend to win when I focus on one or two weapons, rather than equally upgrade all my weapons evenly, because weapons get so much stronger with mods, and you're only going to have a finite amount of experience. So if you are spending a lot of time upgrading every weapon a little bit, you end up with weapons that are just not efficient enough at clearing later waves, especially on higher hazard level difficulties. So I know that the giant boomstick that I have will shoot at the closest enemy. So what I want to do is I want to try to keep the elite mech terror as the closest enemy, so that I choose to shoot at it. And here's an instance where the aliens grow stronger. I'm taking a bit of a time clearing this mech terror, so the game is warning me that it's getting harder to kill, but that's fine because I've cleared it now.
Get to the drop pod before it heads back to orbit.
You can see it gets very, very swarmy. So it's definitely an instance where, like, if you fought around too long and you're not actively clearing, you end up getting swarmed pretty bad.
Move on, Miner. The drop pod will head out momentarily.
All right.
That elite never
Trying
stood
to
a chance.
bleed it for as much experience as I
There's a
can.
beer on the house when you make it back. If you make it back.
Fire rate looks good. Projectile damage and fire rate again. I'm tempted to re-roll, but given that we only cleared level 2, I know that there's going to be more opportunity to spend the nitro and gold. So gold will carry over at the end of rounds, nitro won't. So when you're heading into the last boss fight, spend as all the nitro that you can, because you don't get to keep it.
Get to work.
Now, I have a goal of getting the Deep Core GK2 up to level 12. It's level 11 now. That's one of the reasons why I've been focusing on it, because it will unlock new maps. And then a goal of collecting gold. So I'm very close to the GK2. I don't know how much gold I have left to collect, but about 47. So we're doing pretty good on that too. And here is magnetite, one of the rare resources that can be used to upgrade all of your operatives at the end of a round. Ooh. In this case, I will get a better shotgun, because it's so much better than the other options available. I'm ignoring the red sugar because I'm not wounded. So I do have the red sugar cube, which increases my max HP by 2 every time I collect it. But because I'm fully healed, I would need to actually take damage to collect the red sugar. And I think my time would be better spent up grabbing nitra and gold, so I get stronger. And we have a swarm coming in.
The scanner just lit up like a Christmas tree. We got a swarm incoming.
So in that case, what I did was I got too close there. I kind of shoulder checked the exploder, the Crassus, so that it would like nuke the group, allowing me to clear using friendly fire. Oops, I got too close there too, but it's okay. And there we go. Now, I can either have the gun target the enemy with the highest HP, or change the damage to electrical. I will say you have to be careful with targeting the enemy with the highest HP, and the reason is, if you're running around and there's something big behind you, your gun won't shoot the little things in front of you if you take Big Game Hunter. So, Big Game Hunter can be really useful only if you have another weapon to clear the way. If you don't have another weapon to clear the way, you're going to get a lot of incidental damage because you won't have a weapon actually killing the things that are in your way. So I'm going to go with battery bullets because I don't really have a weapon that reliably shoots the sort of small things that are blocking me. And a new weapon. So this weapon just shoots in all 4 directions. It does a little bit of damage everywhere. And this is a horde. And I'm going to drop the pod on the horde. There we go. And let's go with Rhadamaners again, because I am soaking up the damage. And faster mining speed. Ooh, another magnet. Dang. Getting a lot of magnets.
I can use this.
Alright, I'm getting cornered, so let's get out of here. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to get some red sugar in order to top up my health, provided I don't take more damage getting it.
Just what we call.
Ooh, that's a lot of XP gain.
Something epic with this.
So now I have a bit of a funnel. Oh, I shouldn't have let it hit me. Bit of a funnel funneling the enemies towards me. Because my rifle, now that does electrical, in terms of like elemental damage, I believe acid and fire are relatively similar where it's damage over time. Electrical will arc between enemies, so it's if you do a fast rate of fire electrical damage, it can arc and sort of electrify all the enemies at once, and then cold slows them down for the special damage types. Here comes the Elite Slasher. I'm just going to tank this, because I would rather have the experience. And I think it would also be wise, now that the gun is level 12, to focus on trying to unlock weapon mods for the grenade. So if I have the option to get grenade upgrades, I'll take those now. So I'm pretty sure I'm strong enough to kill the last boss already. Well, not strong enough, but... unless there's, like, epic or legendary upgrades for the GK2, there's a limited amount of benefit.
Drop pod has arrived. Get there now. It will leave without you.
Look at all these explodies. Oh, I froze them all. One of the unfortunate things about freezing them is they can't be easily triggered so that you benefit from their explosions, because they won't set off with proximity.
Get yourself onto that drop pod. It's about to head out.
Alright, I've got a good amount of gold, some nitro, and we should be closer to that goal. Oh, so here's one that's hard to pass up, but I don't have the nitro for it. I am going to go with pickup radius and move speed, and then fire rate. I think it's possible to try to get to level 18 with the GK2 if there aren't options to upgrade the grenades.
There's beasties to shoot and work to be done. Get to it, miner.
And I'm only 8 gold away from the goal of unlocking another biome goal, which is easy to do. Well, let's collect some pearls.
See no pearl here.
So I'll show you what these pearls do and all the other rare resources at the end of the match. You can only spend them out of match, and they'll improve things like your HP or your crit or your mining speed, you know, passive things like that.
I'm gonna go with this.
So here's one. Some Jadas.
Big swarm detected. Rhadamant, get ready.
I don't really have a good escape route where I am right now. And also I have spitters spitting into the choke. But I think if I go up this way and circle back, I'll be able to collect the experience that I gathered and get out of the horde. Yeah. Go with move speed. And you'll understand why I'm picking move speed later on. It's a lot more important. You can see all the arcing electricals now. There we go.
Christmas tree. We got a swarm incoming.
Ooh.
Now it's my favorite.
Now we're getting a lot closer to the grenade level. Oh, but this is a bad situation to be in. I'm kind of got myself trapped. So the supply beacon is about to come in.
Got a blocked landing site for the supply pod. Better clear it out.
I am 2 grenade upgrades away from unlocking weapon mods for the grenades.
The sky just lit up like a Christmas tree. We got a swarm incoming.
I'll take it. This works.
I didn't actually see where the supply... Oh, that's to my right.
Nuke bug hot.
And I have collected 200 gold. So another thing I'm sure you've noticed by now is the amount of enemies and the damage and everything scales up as you progress to become more and more difficult.
Yes, please.
So it's a situation where, like, if you're not building your character well, you will get overwhelmed by the groups that you have to fight. And I will also say, not all weapons are good, to be frank.
This works.
Some of the weapons I find are just, like, pretty underwhelming. I mean, it's possible that, like, I'm not using them well, but regardless, not all weapons are all that effective in game. The weapons I really like to use are the deployables that the engineer typically has, like turrets and drones. But throwables, I don't find usually all that effective, as it's very hard to throw. Like, your character will often throw throwables at things you don't want thrown at, making them ultimately very ineffective.
Gimme, gimme,
Drop
gimme.
pod has arrived. Get there before the timer runs out.
Let's try to set all these up.
Hang around.
There we go. Oh, yeah. I'm really close to drop pod, so I'm just trying to farm as much XP as possible before I head to the next wave.
The drop pod is about to leave. Get your ass moving, miner.
Give it to me.
Alright, I am 1 grenade upgrade away from unlocking weapon mods for the grenades, and then 2 upgrades away from unlocking a new weapon mod for the GK2.
Stage 4 was obvious.
Yeah, the regular turrets and the flame turrets are very, very, very strong.
Easy completion of the final
Oh, it's too bad I can't afford that. That would have been amazing. So the only things I can buy here is this, but that will give me weapon mods.
Baby.
So now the grenades are at level 12, so if I ever pick grenades again, I will be able to have weapon mods for the grenades.
Only one way to rouse the dreadnought. Destroy.
So, dreadnought fight. On the top, you can see eggs. Dreadnoughts have like 3 guards, and you have to, well, you don't have to kill the guards, but essentially the guards will hatch when the meter hits those eggs. But you can destroy their cocoons, or they're not eggs, they're cocoons. You can destroy the cocoons early and kill them so they don't help the boss fight. And then in terms of preparing for the boss fight, a lot of the boss fight is a lot of kiting. The boss, which is the cocoon right above my head, is huge and generally will like 1 to 3 shot you if it hits you. They do a lot of damage. So what you want to do is you want to have a very clear path, a route, in other words, to take to kite the boss around, keeping in mind that the boss will also do terrain deformation. They will destroy terrain as they pursue you. So that is essentially the boss fight in a nutshell. And at this point, there's really no point for me to collect Nitra. There's nothing for me to spend Nitra anymore on. So what I want to do is I want to go around the map and try to find the best way to path so that I don't go into a trap. I don't corner myself or anything like that. And then these are the mini-boss cocoons. So I'm going to open this cocoon and kill the boss early. The mini-boss, that is. And then keep traversing around the map, looking for the other mini-bosses. So the reason why Nitra is not worth collecting at this point is that there's no way for me to spend it anymore, and it doesn't carry over to the end of round, whereas gold does. So I am mining all the gold that I happen upon, and also going around the edge of the map, so that I can create a kiting path for the boss fight, while also looking for extra cocoons, like this one.
You're cute, but you're dead.
Which I would like to wake up, but I might have to kill this other one first. You could, can you play with a class that has turrets the whole game? Yeah, you could, hypothetically, just like focus entirely on turrets and do nothing else if you wanted. You would be at levels 5, 15, and 20 get other weapons, or 25, whatever it is. So if you did just want to do turrets, you're still going to be unlocking other things anyway. But you could focus on turrets. The thing is, they're not guaranteed that they're offered. So sometimes when you're just like, you want to do turrets only, the weapons that you're offered when you level up are not going to be turrets. Yeah, magnet, okay.
Gimme, gimme, gimme.
Oh, let's drop this on the Mectera.
Landing zone ready. Impact
Sploop.
imminent.
Stupids. This works.
And I found the last cocoon. So I'm a little bit ahead of schedule. Sorta. As I've killed 2 of the mini-bosses early.
Feeling much better now.
So what I will say is, every now and then when you have a favorite weapon, if it isn't one of the starting weapons that your class will start off with, you can definitely have situations where it's just not offered to you. And it might be worth abandoning the run as a result, which is this top right button. If you're just like, yeah, I don't want to use, you know, a boomerang or whatever, you know, because there's some weapons that, like for me, for instance, I hate throwable grenade weapons. I really loathe them, even though I have the cryo grenade. The cryo grenade, I feel like is an okay one, but the others are, I hate them. Which I'm sure you'll see in time. So now I've killed all the mini-bosses. Let's make sure that there's a route path that I can run. So what I could do is I could destroy this cocoon, the boss cocoon now, but I would rather spend the time collecting gold, collecting rare resources, and making sure that there's an escape route around the map, because as you can see, there's a lot of bugs here. And my assault rifle is not killing them all that well. Like, it might be worth trying to get as much experience as I can to try to level up my assault rifle one more time, because it is doing a little underwhelming damage, which is going to make it difficult to kill the boss in the boss fight. With that said, the boss is coming in about a minute, whether I like it or not, because it is on a timer. And the boss is less affected by elemental damage, like fire and cold and all that, than others. So here comes the Dreadnought. Here comes the big man. He will be easy to see. Alright, leveled up once. I'll get armor, I guess. So what he does is he'll chase after you and then leap. That's what he does, and everything. When he also like completely crunches the terrain. So this is why I say move speed is really paramount. Because if you don't have move speed, he'll catch you and he'll run you down. And what I'm trying to do is to dodge him when he leaps and just dump as much damage as I can. Ooh, I went the wrong way. Between, meaning that I need to have him be... Ooh, I froze him mid-midair. I need to have him be the closest enemy so that my boomstick, which is probably my big damage dealer, targets him specifically. So like now that he leaps... Oh, the problem is my escape path is quickly disappearing. And the other thing is, my scout might not be strong enough to really kill him, because he's about to get stronger. So much like a game like Hades, a lot of the game mechanics are that you will fail, but then you will make permanent improvements to your character, which will help you get stronger for the next round. That, like, essentially failing is very much part of the gameplay loop.
Watch it. The threat level is increasing.
So that you focus on getting passive upgrades so that you're stronger in the future. Because my damage output is just not enough. So I got splatted there.
Strategy didn't pan out.
Generally, when you have weapons that aren't modded, you will want to unlock those mods in a run where you throw the run away. Basically, you acknowledge, like, because my grenades or shotgun or whatever other Zukov, because of those weapons couldn't actually gain weapon mods, I have a very limited amount of damage potential. And as a result, I'm not likely to win. So what I generally do in those instances is I will plan to try to just focus on upgrading to get the weapon mods, knowing that my damage potential DPS for the fight is simply not going to be enough. Thank you for tuning in to Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, which originally streamed live on Twitch February 20th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. Hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Rock and stone, dwarves!